Ciao together. Most often the defective capacitors are found around the processor. In this case we find just 5 pieces that have burst. Here you can see it more precisely. The upper part is bulging and the inner swells out. To place the new capacitors we have to remove the main board fixed by 8 screws. Which version of Xbox you own can be found in the box above. Compare the manufacturers. For a more precise statement, you can also search for the date of the manufacturer. You can find this information on the bottom of your Xbox. On the left side, you can also see the LED XT chip, which was installed much earlier. There will probably be a video about it later. Be careful when removing the board and make sure you have unplugged all cables. Keep calm and take your time. Put a little new solder on the old solder joints. This way the capacitors can be removed much better in the next step. Move the tongs alternately and pull once on the cathode side and the other time on the anode side. At the same time heat the places until the capacitors come loose. In this case I need my little Dremel to free everything from the solder. Now the removed capacitors are replaced with an identical specification. We need the same capacity in farad. The volt level do not have to be the same, simple equal or higher. In this case we take a 1500 microfarad and a 6.3 volts. Place the capacitors and note the polarity. The minus pole is actually always the shorter leg. Fix them. And finally, we are allowed to solder. Have fun! Next we remove the two heatsinks to replace the thermal compound. If necessary, heat the heatsink to loosen it better. Remove and clean the old thermal paste with isopropyl alcohol. This takes a bit of time. Yeah, and then the same again for the chips. Lastly, add the new thermal paste. There isn't really a structure to follow, just not too little and not too much. The time capacitor must be removed. We replace the original aeroshield capacitor, which in most cases leaks and can damage the motherboard, with a modern variant. The new capacitor has a specification of 1 farad and 5.5 volts. The product link you can find in the description. This variant we still have to prepare and bend the legs to the right size. We can use another standard capacitor as a reference size for the legs. And finally again, we are allowed to solder. What a pleasure. There are 4 different manufacturers, as seen in the box above. In my case, I work with a Hitachi LG. To lower the DVD drawer, you must first manually find the slider and move it. The rubber rings you can get on Amazon, eBay or AliExpress relatively cheap. In my case, I have to remove a part of the chassis grill to install the smaller and quieter fan. This also has the advantage that the airflow is less disturbed and the chassis does not heat up even more during operation. So the first part is already over. I hope you could take some ideas and techniques. Please write me in the comments if you want to see more videos like this in the future and what I could improve in the next videos. Thanks for watching and see you next time.